people wonder how I ended up in computer science, coming with a photogrammetry, surveying engineering, geodetic engineering, education, and I have the sense that people think I fled the field to join computer science, but that's not true. The reality is that I was essentially harassed as a member of the mapping community, so that I had no choice but to look elsewhere. If you are in academia, as I was in academia essentially for the entire 43 years, since 69, but I had also this second 23-year career in business, but always alternating or in parallel. So when you're in academia, you want a professorship. You want to be a professor in your field. And that had been denied. So I did not succeed. And so I left. And I was given an opportunity to go into computer science. They wanted me, so I went into computer science. So it's not a proactive leaving of photogrammetry and go into computer science. It was a reactive. If they don't want me as professor, what am I supposed to do? So sometimes I have an urge to explain that. The reason why computer science wanted me is because very early on I delved into computers. I mean, when I graduated in Vienna, it was incredibly irresponsible that the mapping department in Vienna made its students completely and only use these calculating machines with logarithmic tables. Or how do you call this bar that you use, the logarithmic...
slide rule.
Slide rule, yeah, slide rule. Yeah, these were the tools. So in 1967, I'd never seen a computer. So I came to Holland in my first job, and they had an old SUSE. SUSE was a German computer inventor, the SUSE computer. And I was fascinated because I was used to this. I said, incredible what you can do. No? And I dug into that, and I became so enthusiastic about it that I started... telling everybody how this is enormous, and the people said, "What are you talking about? Don't exaggerate." Yeah, and that gave me a bad reputation in my community, a little bit as a troublemaker. He wasn't satisfied how we do things. He wants to do it differently, and so that's how I couldn't get the professorship. Can you imagine? I was at the University of Karlsruhe. There was a professorship available, and I was invited to give a talk. And I was addressing this issue of photogrammetry, and at that time it was called image processing. It was before the word computer vision became fashionable. And cartography versus computer graphics. And it was probably not a very smart thing to do, to sort of bring up these subjects. But I thought the new professor should be very aware of it and should have a vision of how this should evolve. And I completely fell into a trap. There was an old guy who was hard of hearing in the audience, a former professor of photogrammetry. And as I said, the future of cartography and computer graphics will merge. He said to his neighbor, "What bullshit." You stand there and you're full of enthusiasm and somebody completely disqualifies you. I said, geez, of course I didn't get that professorship. I was roughly at the time where I said, this is not going to happen for me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But you've stayed focused really on in this field, moving away from photogrammetry into computer
I always did my thing. I always called it photogrammetry, but I found another home for it. You know, so I do photogrammetry under the label of computer vision in computer science. No? So in that sense, I did my thing and found a new home for it because the old home didn't want me. Yeah? Sort of. I shouldn't, I'm getting this award tomorrow morning, the Outstanding Technical Achievement Award. There's a lot of recognition for me, which is, in light of this past, particularly gratifying. That the ASPRS recognizes my contribution when the contribution a long time ago was denied. The recognition was denied. So, I don't know.
Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
for your